Three, two, one. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Burning Hints Fantasy Football. I'm here with Hinty. Let me pop him out so we can get on the sleeper. And we're recapping week one. What a wild week it has been. Okay, so we have our first midseason trade, Hinty. What do you think about this? We have Chris Gregg trading away Travis Etienne for Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Chris Smart.
I think Chris Smart capitalized pretty big right there with Clyde, personally. Yeah. I thought Etienne looked not heavily involved, but I think that throughout the year you'll see him get more involved whenever he snaps more and more big plays off. And he had plenty of targets, and one was in the back of the end zone. If he has that, you're looking at Etienne having 13 points week one, and it's not probably traded.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy playing his first game, had one. It's kind of scary to be sharing your carries with James Robinson, but Robinson's coming off an injury. We've seen other players already come off the injury quick, they get hurt. And then also Clyde had less carries than Pachenko. So for me, it's a little bit weird to give up a young asset for. It's nice to see Clyde involved, and I have Clyde in one of my leagues, but definitely, Jacksonville didn't look terrible. They didn't look as good as you'd like. Trevor Lawrence was disappointing for me, man. That interception was not good at the end of the game. So I was not. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, a little disappointing. But felt like Chris Smart made a good trade. We'll see if it works out for Greg, but it could still work out. Clyde could still be getting a touchdown every other game or two. 2 touchdowns, not too bad.
Yeah. And that game's also hard to tell. What are the Chiefs moving forward? Because that game was over by half. So
yeah, it's gonna be. I feel like it could be something different every week because they scored so much, but they have so many different above average weapons and nothing. Obviously there's Travis Kelce, but outside of that, it's nothing too crazy. All right. So let's get over to a recap of last week. Was there any games that you want to highlight on first?
Let's just get the tie out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the weird fake tie, real tie thing.
Yeah. So, that's pretty brutal for just how the rules went down, but just wow. It's also crazy because Smart played Rodgers, who put up 3.
Yeah, it's funny to see how it all played out.
And the alternative was playing Stafford, who got 7.8.
It's really looking at almost every single position, one dominated and one got crushed, and somehow it all came together. Because I think the original score was 103.3 to 103.8. So it's was insanely close already. And then I'm seeing the Rodgers actually got a fumble loss, would have been -2 anyway. But then Barkley had a fumble, and I think Rodgers had another fumble. So it's what the hell? So we'll see when they play again who will take it over.
Yeah, I like what was decided where it's just going to be whoever wins the next match gets this one because of the rule change and stuff. But
yeah, it was a weird start to the week, but hopefully there's nothing more than that. From now on, if anyone wants to take a change, just have to wait till next year. We got our one mulligan, and that's it.
All right.
Do we want to go over the top point getter in Lestrange first?
Yeah, we'll start there.
There was a surprise because I felt like in the draft a heavily criticized pick was A.J. Brown, and he went off. It was very quickly by halftime.
Yeah, and he did that with no touchdowns, and it really looks like A.J. Brown's going to be a great pick. It looks like Hurts has eyes for A.J. Brown and A.J. Brown alone.
Such a big target, and with his accuracy issues, it might just be the way. And we never really saw A.J. Brown with is Jalen Hurts worse than Tannehill?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Like, which
Yeah.
one's more accurate and like a better QB? I think that's definitely to be determined. But I
Yeah.
mean,
I would say Tannehill at his peak is probably better, but we don't know what Hurts is going to be, by midseason.
yeah. And I mean, uh, honestly, like Winston is a great backup. I'm not even sure if he needs him on his roster because he has Herbert. But I mean, that bench is pretty nasty for his team. If he wanted to, he could make a trade and really improve at that wide receiver 2/flex. But I mean, James Robinson, Hunt, both on your bench. Boyd now with Higgins out.
Yeah.
Things are looking good for Connor to start the year off pretty hot here.
Yeah, the butt of a lot of jokes, Connor Lestrange, looking really, really sitting pretty. I mean, Bateman played well. Judy had his that touchdown was like beautiful. So it was like really it all sort of worked out for him. And I mean, what did he get in second last year? Or he was close at least a
Uh,
couple of years. He's always been up there.
yeah, I don't remember where he finished in this league. I know he won the Dynasty League.
Dynasty League, okay, but I still think he had a pretty good team last year. Um, and Stein not a bad performance. 123. What was he second in total points? That's brutal. Second in total. Third. We got Chris Gregg,
Third.
but to lose with a third total points is a little tough. Anyone else we want to touch on next? We want to just go through the Greg game.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hop over to the Greg game. I mean, I guess we can just say something on Stein.
Yeah.
Sucks that you didn't play Michael Thomas. Also sucks that Tony Pollard is basically worthless for the next like 4 to 6 weeks.
I mean, maybe. We'll see what the Cowboys do. I mean, but they're saying they're not going to put him on PUP, so he's not going to be out for 4 games. Dak Prescott.
No,
But I mean, come on.
he's gonna if he comes back, he's gonna come back like Wilson did last year, where it's like,
Takes 2 games. Yeah, it's
like
still not going to
who
be
who
him.
is this really? Like, is this actually a good quarterback still?
I'm surprised there was no trigger for. I guess if Trey Lance had a better game, maybe they would have gone for Jimmy Garoppolo, and that would have been interesting. A nice Pollard. Pollard probably could have populated some catches with that. But
I think a lot of what it was the fact that because they didn't put him on IR, they were like, all right, we're not going to trade for him for like 3 games.
yeah, well, yeah. I guess they think maybe the NFC East is gonna be easy, but after seeing the Eagles, I'm high on the Lions, so the Eagles game was impressive. Um, Yeah, in my other league, I didn't play Michael Thomas. I was too worried about his first game, and same with Jarvis Landry, and of course they both played very well. So it's interesting to see. The Saints are a weird kind of like misfit toys here, but it's nice to see them finally get receivers. All right, we're gonna move on to Greg then. I don't know who his profile picture is supposed to be.
I have no idea either.
Kind of looks like the My Pillow guy, but also kind of looks like some random dude with a mustache. All right. The battle of dual threats, but I mean, Chris Gregg's team worked out. I mean, he traded ATN, but Swift loves Swift. I mean, anything you want to highlight on this team? But pretty much what the plan.
Mostly just looking at his team and being really confused on why he traded ETN here. Just because like you got a pretty solid team, but like you have Darrell Henderson, you have Ramondre, and I know Ramondre started off slow, but Montgomery's hurt now, so I mean, you had time to kind of let things ride with ETN rather than making the jump for Clyde after 1 week of play.
Yeah, and I feel like Henderson's stock's a little bit up because we weren't totally expecting he's gonna be the definite starter, but it looks like they're not happy with Akers at this point. I know you were high on Henderson before, but
Yeah, I mean,
Sanders had a good game with the Eagles. It looked like Harris and Stevenson were pretty much splitting carries, so it doesn't look like there's any like clear RB2 in his team. I guess now it's Clyde, but I
yeah,
felt like the upside was with ETN. It is nice that Dotson really showed up, and we'll see.
yeah,
If, that's
it
a
was good to
nice.
see Doc.
Yeah, it's good to see a Penn State receiver show up. Now it's time for Hamler to get a touch because man, I think there was a stat Russell Wilson didn't throw to a receiver until that Judy touchdown, like in the second quarter.
Oh yeah, no, he didn't. I think his first like 10 passes all were to like tight end and running back.
Yeah, it was a really boring offense. So hopefully Hackett is not what a lot of people thinking he is which is a mistake. But and it's also tough to see Tony get like I think he got 11 snaps, yet he still put up 2.3 points, which wasn't too bad for 11
Yeah, no,
snaps.
I that one shocked me, especially because the two plays that he did like touch the ball, like he was electric and looked phenomenal.
Yeah,
They
that
just
one
didn't
run.
use
Yeah.
like
Well, we'll see what they do against the Panthers. Hopefully, they're smart enough to at least play him. Because if the Giants lost that game, people would have been criticizing Dable a little bit about not getting Tony
oh
more
yeah,
touches.
Barkley saved Dable's day one.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to bring up with these two?
Uh, I'm mostly just gonna say that Alex probably needs to resolve some issues here. Like I don't know. I'm like I know like the touchdowns with Henry will get there, but it's like Hill no touchdown. Debo had a rough game. Jacobs just nothing. Goddard I don't like. Like Tony at the bench. Oh, if I was him, I'd be a little worried for this league right now.
I would be a little worried, but I mean, Lazard was out. Hamler might be a
That's true.
drop soon, and then Debo, tough game. Goddard played okay, not great, but I mean, he's just this weird middle of the road where he's like not a lot of upside. Where you kind of know where he's at, and Jacobs that scares me because the Chargers had a horrendous run defense last year. So
Yeah.
not putting up any like real point, and it was like a close game. I guess I mean they were down a lot because Carr threw so many interceptions. Henry, that's a little concerning too against the Giants, not putting more than 8 points. But we'll see if this Tennessee team is. Some people are like worried they're going to be really really bad, so we'll see if that
Yeah.
happens. Um,
That'd be crazy.
yeah,
Going from like being like the best team with your team injured half the year to being a
yeah.
bad team.
You want to move on to Kuzi, who's our next higher scorer?
Yeah, we'll
Kuzi
do
McP,
next.
the two-time defending champion. Not such a good day for him. Cam Akers, 0
Hey,
points.
I'm gonna throw this out right there, like right now. He started off rough last year, and
Who,
I
Nick
think the
P?
year before.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to shit talk his team. I'm going to reserve judgment. Um, but it does hurt to like Cam Akers. Not sure what he's gonna be like for the Rams, and CD not having Dak, and
Higgins
it
out.
looks rough. But
Yeah.
I'm
He
not
can
gonna
turn it
count.
around.
He can definitely turn it around.
Yeah, and then
Um,
Algier being a healthy scratch. A little
yeah.
bad.
Um, Tuesday, on the other hand, great way to start off the year. Patterson with Williams going down got used every single play and just looked phenomenal. Um, like I mean, I think his team looks pretty solid. Cup's gonna do a lot of like legwork for that team. Um, I'm not, and also I'm not sure if you saw Freiermuth had like I think the most targets out of any tight end in week one.
Says 10 targets. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's
So
fine. I mean, Firemouth had 10 targets and Deontay Johnson had 12. So they got 22 of the Pittsburgh targets. So that's pretty good. And I mean, his bench, I mean, once Dobbins comes back, Herbert had a good game. Schuster looked okay. I mean, 8 targets, that's pretty good. If it wasn't a
yeah.
fumble loss, he'd be in the tens. Renfro was shockingly not so much, but I think he had a bad player. He got intercepted on one of the throws. And then Watson had that dropped catch. So, I mean, if Watson figures it out, I mean, Kuzi's team looks pretty good.
Also, I know this is thinking ahead, but I was listening to people talk today, and I just gotta ask: would you start Tom Brady this week with like the current situation where like today I don't think Julio, Mike Evans, Godwin, or Russell Gage practiced today, and Leonard Fournette was limited
Well, any chance
against
I can
the
do to kick
Saints?
Tom Brady when he's down, I'll do it. So, no, don't
Like,
play Tom
so
Brady.
do you play Tom Brady there, or do you pivot to Carson Wentz against Detroit?
Oh, I would do Carson Wentz against Detroit. I mean, I
Yeah.
like Detroit's offense. Their defense doesn't look very good. It could be a high-scoring game. I think the Lions will win, but that's going to be a fun game. Commanders,
Yeah.
Lions.
It's
I think
gonna
every
be like
Lions game.
it's a low key great game.
Yeah. The Lions with the NFC East should be fun. All right. Do we want to move over to your game, the upset of
Yeah, I
Rob
guess.
Nats? Take it while you can. All right.
Yeah, I'll let you do the talking.
Well, you kind of got screwed by the incompetency of Matt Rule. Christian McCaffrey getting 3 carries in the first half, 5 total touches. Like, oh god, I hate this guy. So I mean, Trey Lance, bad, bad start, but it was a monsoon. Like, we'll see what happens. And then A Rob, kind of gone. But I mean, everything else sort of went sort of to plan. I mean, Hollywood Brown played well. It sucks that Lamar Jackson decided to throw to his receivers this year so far, so he didn't get a big game out of Andrews. But I mean, Rob Matz. I mean, Antonio Gibson was got a ton of touches, ton of
Yeah,
touches.
Gibson looks like he's going to be very, very good.
Yeah,
At least all the way up until Robinson's back. So I mean, you're
yeah.
talking week first quarter of the season is a great pick right there for Gibson. I think he's going to be great.
And even if Robinson comes back, I mean, 7 of 8 receptions. I don't think Robinson's going to be able to produce that much. Because remember, Gibson's sort of a receiver too. So
Yeah, no, I think Gibson will be pretty okay. I think McKissick will be the one who mostly takes the hit, but I
yeah,
mean,
I don't think he'll be totally out of the offense. But
yeah,
Javante Williams, he looked good. That Russell Wilson Javante Williams is kind of like a nice little, uh,
yeah, especially with
11 of 12 receptions. I mean, that's
yeah,
insane.
that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah,
Like, just wow, dump off city right there.
yeah. It sucks that Keenan Allen's going to be out, but Metcalf, I mean, 5 points. If the fumble loss was different, it's 7. It's disappointing, but I feel like I'm not too high on him. It's nice that Michael Carter looks like he's gonna be the starter for him, so that's good. And Hines is
Yeah,
putting, a little bit. If a running back gets hurt, he can put in Hines for a game or two, and we'll see if
and
Jones, gets healthier.
I will say he also does have Julio, who I'm a big fan of him after week 1 as long as he can stay healthy.
And I'll say, don't lose Brandon Ayuk. I feel like Ayuk was Lance's one of his favorite targets, and that's not a bad 6 points. It looks bad, but you got to remember where they were and what the game
Yeah,
situation was.
so
So 2 catches for
I
40
agree with
yards
that
isn't
one.
bad. All right, so let's go on to mine, and then we'll. Oh, we already did the tie, so we're already on the last one. Moving through this.
All right. I
Just
mean,
happy to
I
play
think
snowball.
yeah, I think you got really lucky playing snowball. I mean, you had players have some of their worst weeks. Dak's out for a while. Man, Justin Jefferson is a freaking beast.
Thank God I drafted him. I was like, should I draft running back or Justin Jefferson? He saved me. That's why I wanted
Oh
him in the
man,
other league too. You feel bad after
uh,
that trade.
I feel. Trust me, week 1 was rough for me because I traded away AJ Brown and I traded away Jefferson during the offseason.
Oh God, yeah, that's brutal.
But I mean, you got to be pretty happy with Sanders. He looked pretty solid on the ground. I think Cole Kmet will bounce back as a good tight end. I think Aaron Jones is going to get bounce back. You just got to resolve your quarterback. But I mean,
It's week
I'm
one.
sure that
It was the
yeah,
same way last year with the Packers.
yeah. Like I'm not too concerned. I mean, I think your team looks pretty solid moving forward. You are so lucky that you played Snowball week 1, and Snowball's team looks like it might be in some trouble.
Yeah, the Devontae Smith is really troubling that he didn't catch a single pass, and Kamara was weird. 9 carries and
Yeah,
only four targets. Get the ball 13 times to him. That's a little
yeah,
concerning. But I mean, Devontae Adams, that's a big plus. Obviously,
yeah.
Carr's just
Devontae
going to force
Adams
the
is
ball.
gonna be nice.
Albert O, I was a little bit worried about, and I mean, his team's not terrible, but I think he needs to shore up his bench a little bit. I mean, DJ Chark was lucky. If Kittle comes back, that'll help out definitely. But Singletary looks about what he's been on the
Yeah,
bench. It's
but
8 to
it
10 points.
like Singletary looked so good in that game,
That's what he's.
and I
It's
don't
always been like
know
that.
why they took him out.
It's been like that. I remember after his rookie year, I was like, "You gotta draft this guy. He looks so good. He looks so good when he gets the ball, and then they just never give him the ball." That's just the Bills
It,
and running backs just don't.
it makes no sense.
It
Like
doesn't go.
I really did not understand that.
Yeah, and
But
I'm gonna make some
yeah, I
changes
mean,
to my bench because AJ Green this this Tennessee receiver. Don't think they're gonna be staying much longer. And then Blankenship got
Yeah.
cut.
Yep. Blankenship got cut.
Sad, sad stuff. All right, is there
But
anything else you want to bring up from this league? Do we want to look at anything you're looking at for next week or anything in the
I'm
dynasty?
just gonna scroll through waivers real quick, and I mean I know
Let's look at the
um
flex.
like I mean oh that's what I wanted to say is Kuzi made a great move last week. Picking up Jeff Wilson right before the Sunday
Oh,
games.
right before the slate, he saw the injury.
No, I mean there
Or
wasn't
was it
even
just
the
luck?
injury. It was just
Oh, it
like
was mid-game. Yeah.
he picked him up before the games kicked off, and that's just a great move right there,
Hmm.
and saved himself a ton of fab, and got the number one waiver pickup before it was even there. So great move by Kuzi right there.
Respect, respect. Yeah, Snowball made a good move getting Albert O too. He dropped Robbie, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. Oh, you gave me an emoji for picking up Cole Kmet. Yeah, I'm glad I was watching a little bit of the Miami game, and they were throwing to receivers not named Kasicki, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm hoping they move on from him. Glad I got rid of him before it started. But yeah. Anything
But
else we
yeah,
want to bring up?
nope. We can hop over to the Dynasty League real quick.
Okay.
Um,
I was lucky to get a win in. Very happy
yeah,
with that.
we can just start with our matchup right off the bat since we played. Yeah, your team went off. Um,
Clyde Edwards
like
Hilaire was a big help.
I'm pretty sure in like the things that they said, like the number one overperforming team, I think was your team.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
let's look at that. Those are always fun.
yeah, overachiever was your team. You were projected 139 and finished at 150.
And a tough
Um,
day for Nick P. Backed in both
oh
leagues.
yeah, Nick P had a rough week one. Like this one was brutal because it's just like
Cat Dog went off.
yeah.
Alex's team is just loaded in this league.
Oh, Alex's team, I think
And they didn't even do
week
that
one.
well.
I think he came out week one and said, "I'm winning this league this year."
Like
Um,
Henry underperformed.
just
Dalvin Cook wasn't that good. Mike Williams put up 2 points. Like they were not. It was not even like at max capacity. So
yeah,
it's
I think there's no way Alex misses the playoffs in this league.
he could score 200 points a couple times. So we'll see. That'd be fun to see.
Yeah, there's no way Alex loses doesn't make the playoffs this year. The biggest fear for Alex's team is not it's not even a fear. The only way his team goes down is just a random loss in the playoffs.
Yeah, just an unlucky week. Yeah.
Like
All he has to worry about is the future, but he's gonna win. He's gonna be in contention for the short term for
yeah,
at least a couple of years.
yeah. Definitely at least this year. I mean, probably for a while. I mean, you got Lamar Jackson and you got Jalen Hurts, and as long as Hurts is still a starter,
Yeah, as
like
if Damian Pierce becomes like a good running back, he's gonna be fine. Because the running
I
backs
don't,
might be getting old
I
at the
don't
top
think,
end. Henry,
I don't think Damian Pierce moves forward as the starter there. I mean, realistically, like he was a day 3 pick. He's going to be in contention for starting role this year, and then like by next year, he's going to be like next year he might have a full year. Year after that, they're drafting someone new. Like he doesn't look that good,
yeah, I wasn't. I can't say I watched that much of the Houston Texans game.
but
It
yeah,
was
Derrick
not.
Henry's getting up there. Dalvin Cook's getting up there, but he's fine with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers for a while.
I think Chris Smart was the leading team. This I told you I like Chris Smart's team, man. He's got a solid team this year.
Yeah,
Lead scorer.
and he did that with
Stafford, six
playing
points.
Stafford, who got him 6 at the QB position. Yeah, that kind of shocked me. I wasn't ready for it.
And Higgins got
Uh,
hurt.
yeah, and Higgins went down, and Keenan Allen went down.
Yeah, imagine if you played Wentz and Kareem Hunt. My
Yeah,
God.
you were right. His team is looking pretty strong right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's a long season. Don't want to float
It's a
them up
long
too much.
season, and the one thing for this league is bench does matter. But let's go ahead and go through the individual matchups. Yeah, you beat the crap out of me with like Clyde going off and Cooper Cup and Michael Thomas getting played and Christian Kirk. Those were your big ones that really helped you. And
Kirk, baby.
I just had some letdowns. Kyle Pitts really
Kyle
let me
Pitts
down
was
early in
rough.
the season. Debo let me down.
Just the
Mostly just
Niners.
the
Tough week.
Niners in general hurt me, and I think that'll probably change. But
Yeah, I think who are they? They're playing some easy team. I think their spread is
they're
10.
playing Seattle this week, and Adams is out for the year now.
Yeah, so I think people should yeah. It's fun to talk about the Geno Smith stuff, but I think they'll be sent back to reality, I think, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um so do we want
But
to go
yeah,
over we went over to Nick P and Alex, so we want to do Chris Smart. We did Chris Smart, we can do Connor. Connor's brutal game.
yeah, we can talk about Connor's man, Cam Akers and Godwin and CD
Lamb, yeah.
just looks pretty rough. I
AJ
mean,
Dillon looked good though.
AJ Dillon did look good, and I don't see that changing. I'm a big fan of AJ Dillon this year moving forward.
Yeah. The one thing is
But
tough is his bench. Look at his bench. It's so many scratches and did not play.
yeah, he's gonna have to. I was looking at this like with um like Godwin being out with the hamstring and Cam Akers not being a start, like not being a playable asset, and Dak going down. I mean, I know he's gonna play Winston, but it's also like, I mean, I feel like it might get to the point that he's gonna be starting Pat Fryermuth over
Yeah.
some of the
As a
wide
flex.
receivers.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Would you play Jones versus Carolina or Winston versus Tampa Bay? It's a good question.
Uh, I think I would play Winston versus Tampa Bay.
I call me. I'm just angry Panthers fan, so I'd pick Jones. Think he's gonna
That's
do
fair.
okay. All right, so we got two more.
Did
We
you
got
wait real quick?
yeah.
I heard this stat and it blew my mind. Did you know that Tom Brady has never beaten the
The
Saints since
Saints
he's
in the
been
regular
down
season.
there?
Yeah, it's. I think there's only two teams he hasn't beaten. It's like Saints and like some other team. I forget what the other one was, but
But he's lost since he's been with the Bucks. He's lost seven. They've lost. The
was it
Bucks have
six at
lost
this
the
point?
last seven. The Bucks have lost the last 7 games against the Saints.
In the regular season.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think it might continue based on what's happened with the Bucks. So we got Chris Gregg with in his debut game for Owen. Not the best start, but I mean it is what it is. What do you think
yeah.
about
I
each
mean,
team?
it's pretty. I'll start with Owen. It's pretty rough for these new teams, but I mean, honestly, I didn't think this team performed that badly. Obviously, he has to get Galladay out of there, and he's got to get Mac Jones out of there. But um, I mean, he does have Daryl Henderson, who looks like he's going to be an asset this year. Um, and I think Brees Hall will probably get more work faster than I was expecting. And Dotson definitely is startable. Like I'd say now.
Yeah, well, it's a really good asset, especially just because it's dynasty. So he's a rookie. He's already playing well. That's definitely this guy's going to be a baller. At least going to be at least a medium level player for a while. So that's always good. And Watson, yeah, he dropped that pass, but the fact that he was getting that much playing time, that's probably a good sign.
Yeah, and that'll change over time.
Yeah,
Chris's team. Chris, you're welcome for this victory. I believe that Justin Jefferson scored you enough points for you to win this game.
yeah, won by
Um,
less than 30.
just
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that trade plays out throughout the year because obviously I don't expect Justin Jefferson to put up 30 points every single game this year.
you never know. It was
I
tough to see his backup Tennessee running back. He's had this in almost every league. He's had Hillard went for 20, stealing
yeah,
touchdowns. 2 touchdowns on on 5 touches.
yeah, and
Don't think
it's
that's gonna
like
happen again.
yeah, that's not gonna keep happening, but it is good to have. It looks like they're going to utilize him, so if he needs to, he can throw him in.
Mid-season.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Chris's bench looks pretty rough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be the killer for a lot of these teams in Dynasty. It's like your starters look good, but where's your bench at and what's going to end up happening? But
Yeah.
way to get off to a win there, Chris. It might be especially for a team that we expect to be battling towards the bottom this year. Way to scrape together a win right there. Every win counts.
It does. All right, so our last one is Dad's debut versus Stein, and Stein had a good showing. And Dad, not bad for 114 is not bad for expansion
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, not bad. And you look at his team. I mean, I really like what he started this week. It just didn't pan out for him.
Derek Carr was just horrendous.
Yeah, Derek Carr having the 5 turnovers. That'll definitely take you out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Penny looked really solid running the ball. He didn't end up in the end zone, but he'll get there. Same with Fournette. Didn't end up in the end zone, but looked great. Mike Evans looked good. St. Brown looked good. Cooks looked good. I think he has a really solid team here moving forward. And I think after the expansion draft, I think you said that you liked his team more than Owens, and I said I liked Owens' team more. And I think you're going to end up being right.
Yeah, the one real issue with him is, man, he's quarterbacks. Derek Carr, I'm assuming, will get better, but Brissett is not someone I want to be starting. And then Garoppolo and Ritter both aren't starting, so it's like you're kind of stuck. So hopefully, I mean, he's got to pray that Garoppolo, someone's quarterback really goes down worse than Dak, and they trade for Garoppolo. Because
I mean, it might be. I'm just looking at his team right here. I don't think. I think Renfro will turn it around. I don't expect him to be that bad the entire year.
It's a good stack too.
He with James Robinson on the bench. You can easily put him in your lineup. You'll have Michael Gallup coming back later in the year. I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be startable, and if he didn't play Drake London, who I think is startable. Dalton Schultz is startable.
Schultz should be like a definite starter with the backup QB because backups love their tight ends. So
yeah, and then he also has Tony, and if Tony ends up getting more playing time, he might be a team that really benefits from this moving to a super flex rather than 2 QBs because he might be able to just run Derek Carr as his starting QB and then outside of that just basically let
until Ritter comes in. At some point Ritter's gonna come in. I can't imagine.
Yeah, at some point Ritter's gonna come in.
And then we went over both, right?
We did not go over Stein's team at all. Stein's team just Jamar Chase and Saquon. I mean, that is essentially what gave him the points in week 1. And Mahomes.
Mahomes putting the stamp down. Yeah, Devontae Parker, that's a rough go, but I feel like it's good to learn that early. That he's I think not going to be the guy.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, at this point, to me, I'm out on all New England wide receivers. I don't think it's worth starting them. But
yeah, it's scary. And they're playing the Steelers this week, so definitely not. And Deontay Johnson is a definitely play Deontay Johnson. So that's an easy one to fix if he's Stein. The Steelers.
I actually can't believe you didn't play him over Devontae Parker week 1.
Yeah, maybe it's his inner Miami Dolphins. Thinking he'll get better once he leaves the Dolphins.
I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, but I mean it's nice. He's got a lot of quarterbacks. This team's solid. I think Stein's got a good team. Devin Duvernay. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, I mean I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't expect Duvernay to score 2 touchdowns all the time, and I mean. It'll be interesting to see where that team goes, especially as Dobbins gets healthier.
Yeah, and both these teams need to add players. Stein's got 3 bench spots, uh, and Dad's got an extra one. So it's time to fill up those rosters while you can and hoard some players.
Yeah. Granted, I mean, I will say players are pretty tight, but I mean, Brandon Bolden, Damian Williams is, to be honest, a pretty much like I would add him if I thought that he was a better choice over any of the guys that I have.
Well, we should probably
Michael
shoot
Hayes.
Stein a message that his team's good because he also has 3 players that are free agents and aren't on a team. He has James White, Duke Johnson, and Devontae Booker. So he has 6 openings on his bench.
Oh
So,
man, Stein could basically add all the remaining players that have value at this point.
so time to
Wow.
let him know, hey, your team is pretty good. Probably should add some players.
Your team's pretty good, minus the fact that your bench is a bunch of people that can't play.
Yeah. Well, you could go after that receiver from the Giants that played really well. I mean, there's some people you could
Maybe
put
he should
somewhere.
go add Gronk, get some more retired players on his team.
Yeah, maybe they'll come back and they'll win him the league. All right.
The
Anything else
Fools.
you?
I was just gonna say the other league he's got all rookies. This one he's just gonna have all retirees.
Yeah, that's a good double it up. It's an interesting strategy.
All right, but that's all I got.
Yeah, same. I did see Connor picked up Taysom Hill, so we'll see how that works out. That sounds funny.
Yeah, that'll
Interesting how that
be.
went.
I'm not sold on that, but it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the games.